Give that man a big old 50 burger. That's right. Good afternoon, everybody. It is another edition of Picks and Roll. Sean Brace, and as always, joined by Sixers Insider for the Gambler, Sean Barnard. All things NBA coming your way. Nice and easy today. Recapping the 76ers win over the Wizards last night, where Joel Embiid led the charge with 50. Everybody else seemed to be a little bit, maybe they stayed up north. I don't know. And of course, we got two in-season tournament games going off this afternoon / evening. Depends where you're at. If you're in Vegas, it's the afternoon, 5 o'clock over here on the East Coast. We'll fire up DraftKings Sportsbook, see if we get some winning plays there. Yesterday, though, nice call. I saw a lot of people on the Joel Embiid number, and he didn't play in a couple games. So I felt like he was going to come back in a big way. I felt like 40 was absolutely given. Did not even look at 50 because I just thought that this was going to be a blowout. The Wizards are really a bad basketball team, but they played well last night. Sean Barnard, great to talk to you. Joel Embiid dropped 50. What was your reaction last night?
Yeah, Wizards for sure among the worst teams that I've seen play basketball there. So a very ugly win by the Sixers. I was not impressed from a team standpoint. Thought it kind of looked like they woke up 10 minutes before the game and then decided that they had to play. And seemed like they knew all along that they could kind of just keep this team at arm's length, be in the mix, and just be good enough to win. And that ultimately proved to be true. But it is the casual dominance of Joel Embiid that is the true takeaway. 50 points. He dropped 50 points on 29 shots, and it feels normal. Like, this wasn't a bat the eye moment. I do think at times we take for granted what a special talent Joel Embiid is. There's very few players that can do that. Sixers have 2 of the 4 players in the NBA to have scored 50-plus points in a game this year, that being Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. So really cool to see Embiid get his, and especially with his dad in attendance. That was a cool moment, too.
Who are the other two? I got no shot. Who are the? If I had to guess, I'm gonna say Luka.
No, yes. Wait, Levine for sure won. It's Maxey, Embiid, Levine, and I gotta check the fourth one.
Levine dropped 50.
Levine dropped.
I don't
50.
remember that at all.
It was early,
dude. The season just started. Levine dropped 50. I don't remember that at all. That's a bad job by me. Maybe it happened on a weekend. I don't know, but I definitely don't remember that. And Luka was a guess.
I think I believe it. I won't even say it was either Dame. I feel like it was a Milwaukee Buck. I'm scrolling to check my receipts.
Dame did score 50 in a game, didn't he?
I think so. I think it was Dame.
No, Giannis.
Giannis
scored over 50. It wasn't Dame. Giannis had over 50. I remember that. I don't remember Levine though. Giannis was against the Pacers.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And we're gonna see a rematch of that tonight as well.
Yes. Giannis scored over 50 against the Pacers. That was early this month or last month. Sorry. Yep. One more time. Levine scored 50.
Yep, and that is the official list. I did find it. It is Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Zach LaVine, and Giannis are the 4 players that have 50-point games so far this season.
I knew you were right. When you said it was a Buck, I'm like, was it Giannis? And I'm like, yeah, that's right. I knew it was Giannis. All right. We'll see. Maybe we get some 50-point scores tonight. Anyways, let's stick with the 76ers here, and let's talk a little bit more from last night. And again, Joel Embiid, I was reading an article from CBSSports.com. Joel Embiid is the 7-foot son. The Sixers are constantly revolving around. That's the way it's been for the last few years. The difference for me this year is the depth, and you're getting production from guys like Oubre, who's back in the mix. Great to see him out there again. I just feel better, more confident from the depth perspective for guys like Pat Bev. We don't have to go down the list. We know what was added, Rocco, so on and so forth. But let me pull up the standings real quick because I want to make sure that I'm 100% correct on this. We are now at the 20-game mark.
Yep.
Is it fair to say, as far as depth is concerned, Sean, the last 4 to 5 years in the Sixers, in regards to the 76ers, that this is the deepest team that we've had?
Yeah, I do think that's the case, and most specifically from those 3-and-D style of players. That has been something these Sixers have lacked. They have kind of an abundance of them when we talk about the Nicholas Batums, the Tobias Harris, Robert Covington. Tobias, we can get into too. That I guess my Tobias thing, and this goes into the depth piece here, is it's very clear that like there's no defining skill that he has that's better than these options around him. That's clearly becoming a concern. He's played some really bad basketball. 6 points last night was brutal. That coming after a second half in which he scored 0 points against the Celtics without Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. So it's nice to have all these depth pieces around. I do think Tobias is beginning to be the guy that gets buried. I'm curious with obviously the loyalty there and the contract that comes with him. If Nick Nurse makes the decision to start eating into his minutes, has not been the case just yet, but it's something that I would like to see moving forward.
Yeah, and again, we're in December here,
Yeah.
so now is the time to tinker. Now is the time to move things around, try, and if that happens, then so be it. Maybe it's about lighting a fire at Tobias's ass. I think you're going to get what you're going to get from Tobias. We've been down this path many times right now. So, but it's new to Nick Nurse, so we'll see how he plays that one out. Also from the game last night, Sixers were not good from downtown, and that's just how are they shooting this year in your mind from 3-point? Are they above average in your opinion? Is that something that they can live off of? I know a few games they've been really shooting the lights out, and then last night I think at halftime they were like 2 of 11 from downtown. It was just an ugly game.
Yeah, not a good looking game at all. They were 2 of 12 or 2 of 16 in the first half. The second one being that Tyrese Maxey half court shot that did the job and went in, so we'll take it. But yeah, they as a team have not shot the ball super impressive. Kind of pulling up the numbers now. The Sixers on the year, and I have this broken down into zones here. I would like to change that. The corner threes they've been all right on. That's probably where they're going to get most of their volume. They're shooting 38.7% there. The above the break, which I've seen a lot more sneak into them, 37.3. So statistically, they have not been bad from it, but it has not felt like that. And the volume's been something that we've talked about. There has not been as much attack the rim and collapse the defense, kick out. James Harden, for all his flaws, was very good at that. That's something that he created a pretty high level. Tobias Harris is another guy, not to keep digging on him, but his volume's gone down from last season, and that's something that just cannot happen. He's attempted 3 3-pointers across the past 2 games. That's just never going to be enough volume for a guy that is making the money he is and should be in the pecking order in the way he is. So more volume is probably my biggest takeaway from 3, but it helps when you have guys like Tyrese Maxey, who's legitimately one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's still getting up plenty of volume there. D'Anthony Melton's been hot from 3, getting that back. And I'm still not liking the rate at which they're getting outshot from volume standpoint, but not a ton to nitpick from the efficiency thus far.
8 of 27 from last night from downtown. Yeah, that's ugly. Again, you're going to play down to your opponent from time to time, and I know a lot of people, that's unacceptable, but that's just the way it's going to go when you play 82 games in a season. We'll see. Next one up for the 76ers on Friday night, back to the Wells Fargo Center, taking on the Atlanta Hawks, who were in action last night. Let me pull up the card just so we can hit on some games as far as last night is concerned. Ended up texted you early. I'm like, the one game that's screaming at me, Portland catching 12.5. Golden State shouldn't be giving anybody double digits. Played out exactly kind of how I thought it was going to be. Definitely a sweat in the fourth quarter. They ended up losing by 4. The Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks played the Brooklyn Nets last night. Ended up losing by 1. They were trailing by a ton in that game. Came back and made it a little bit of a ball game. Brooklyn went down to Atlanta and won that game by a point where they were 4.5-point dogs in that one. Other ones from last night that caught the attention, Orlando, who was hot, ended up losing to Brooklyn, still on the road, ended up losing to Cleveland last night. And one more, Houston upsetting Oklahoma City. That was intriguing. And, of course, the beatdown, which was great from the Utah Jazz head coach, where he was –
Great quote.
It was a great quote. It was a great quote. If you had, go check that one out. There was a nice little curse word included in that one. 147-97 beatdown. Also, the Nuggets ended up losing to the Clippers as point favorite on the road in LA. That's a big time win for the Clippers as far as, believing in yourself. Again, it's December 7th, last night the 6th. Not going to make too much of a case. Clippers are winning some games, though. Some difficult matchups, difficult opponents, and winning some games. I think we need to look at the Clippers and give them a little bit more credit. Am I a little over the top on that? Where do you stand on the Clippers right now?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be better than the way they started. That they're starting to settle in, figure out some roles. There's still a whole lot of tinkering with the rotations and lineups going on by Ty Lue there, and that's by design. That when you bring in a player like James Harden, that drastically changes the stylistic integrity of a team. You got to figure out how to make it work. So they're starting to do that, and that being after the fact that he got no training camp with this roster. Really, guys, that's a big piece to try and fit in and figure out during the season. That's what they're starting to do. And as far as last night's game specifically, worst shooting performance of Nikola Jokic's career, shot 9 of 32 from the field, was very surprised by that. That was my biggest takeaway. I was texting back with both you and Beef about some plays, and I said that I loved the Nikola Jokic over 29.5. The last time the Nuggets and Clippers played, that they just could not guard him. They ended up on a lot of small ball opportunities where it was him with either James Harden or Terrence Mann on him, and Jokic just took it to the hole every time. But obviously not the case last night. He ended with 22 points on 32 shots, which pretty much never happens at that efficiency rate for him. So hat tip for the Clippers for making some adjustments, and it does feel like they're starting to figure some things out.
Last out of the 6 games, last 6 games for the Clippers, they beat the Nuggets, they beat the Golden State Warriors, they beat the Sacramento Kings, and they beat the Dallas Mavericks. They also played Golden State and Denver 2 other times, and they lost those 2 games. But still, those are 4 big opponents there that will be in the playoffs. I think we can all agree with that. And nice wins by the Clippers. Again, 10-10 on the season, 8-12 ATS. Not trying to make them out to be world beaters at this point in time, but we know the potential. And if they're healthy come around April, we'll see if they can put it together. A long way to go until we get to that point. All right. Anything else from last night catch your attention?
Yeah, I would say that Clippers win is probably the most notable to me, and I do think that Rockets win over the Thunder. This Rockets team, they continue to put it together. They continue to coat their resume, and this is a team that no team should be looking forward to play at this point in time. So those were probably the 2 biggest things for me there. I'll also give a little credit to the Grizzlies. I know it's just the Pistons that they beat to hand them their 18th straight win, but they needed that one. It feels like that they're starting to figure some things out too. The record is still not great, 6-14 on the year. They're obviously waiting for John Morant to come back, but I am starting to see a little bit of momentum and belief in the Grizzlies that I think there's a chance that once Ja does make his return, this team starts to climb up the standings and becomes a playoff team once again. So I'm not counting the Grizzlies as dead in the way that I think some people are.
18th straight loss for the Detroit Pistons.
And they are coming to Philadelphia for a home and home against the Sixers next week. So who knows? If the Sixers lose one of those back-to-backs, they could be the team to end that. I hope for that not to be the case.
No, I hope not either. The next game up for the Pistons is tomorrow night, taking on the Orlando Magic on the road in Orlando. That game is going off at 7 o'clock. Another surprise in the NBA. How good the Orlando Magic have looked so far this year. All right, let's keep it moving. Speaking of surprises, Sean Barnard, the in-season tournament catching a lot of buzz. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, I made the mistake. I'm pissed. I thought it was the Pelicans. I thought the 2 games that were going off, those were the 2 teams that would be facing off. I got that wrong. That's on me. But hey, guess what? The big question I had was whether or not people would care about a Pacers-Pelicans game at 5 o'clock East Coast time, 2 o'clock in Vegas. Not the case. Instead, we get Pacers-Bucks, Pelicans-Lakers. I like both these matchups. I want to start with the Pacers and Bucks game going off, as I said, 5:05 East Coast time here. 257.5 is our total in that one. I know it's really risky and dangerous to talk about an under as far as any game that features the Pacers, especially when they're taking on a team like the Bucks. But should we expect defense to be played a little bit in this game since there's something else on the line, or is that out of the question?
Yeah, to be honest, I think no. I think that both these teams are going to run and gun. The Bucks, that's been kind of their identity this year, which has been surprising too. Is they've been a much more fast-paced team. Against that, in their last game, they put up 70-something the first half. I believe it was 72 to advance in that matchup against the Knicks there. So they're going to run and gun. We're going to see a lot of movement, a lot of shots up. The Pacers, that's their plan of attack. That yes, they play bad defense, but it's more about like the second that ball goes through the rim, they're already pushing to the next possession. That they're first in pace by a long shot, first in offensive efficiency or offensive rating by a long shot. So it's really impressive, the stuff that they're putting up. As far as this matchup as a whole, I'm still rolling with my Pacers. That I do feel like this is a perfect spot for them to have the perfect blend of talent and hunger for an in-season tournament. Tyrese Halliburton's really good, man. Like, you can't name for me 10 NBA players better than Tyrese Halliburton right now. He's at that level of talent. It's insane that was his second nationally televised game last game, that triple-double. Also crazy that's his first career triple-double because I feel like he's knocking on the door of it every time I watch him play. So cool for him to get that. But I've liked seeing Halliburton climb to the big stage. I think he's going to do it tonight going toe-to-toe with Dame, and I feel good about definitely the number at +5, and I honestly like the Pacers outright.
Yeah, I am with you on the +5. Get ready to sweat. I think this is going to be a really fun game. Yeah, I'm not touching the total one bit. We nailed it. I forgot to bring this one up. In the last time that they did play in that game against Boston, or excuse me, in that game against the Knicks, remember my take was Damian Lillard as far as 3 points were concerned.
Yeah.
And my guy was aggressive. It's back to the same number at 3.5. I expect it to be the same. I expect him to get the shots off. So give me 3.5 as far as the plus money is concerned. I think he was 5 of 7 or 5 of 8, something like that. This is a big game. These guys all want to win it. So you know you're going to get your production from Giannis. And, of course, Dame Halliburton's going to go off. So give me the 3 points as far as Lillard is concerned on that one. Now, to the game itself, I'll take the points with the Pacers here. Not feeling all that enthused because we know how good the Milwaukee Bucks are. But I'm not going to, think that it can't be possible at 5 o'clock, a 2 o'clock start time out there in Vegas. Maybe they come out flat. Yeah, it's a little weird that they're starting it out there at that time. I want to watch it. I can't wait to watch it at 5 o'clock, but I don't know. Give it an opportunity. I don't know. Like maybe a 7 o'clock game and a 10 o'clock game. Is that too much? I don't know.
And that's the norm for the NBA schedule. That's generally every night. So yeah, it's very strange. I don't get the 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock East Coast times. The 2 o'clock start on Pacific time where it'll actually be taking place makes even less sense to me. So yeah, I don't get it all. Feels like they're eating into the viewership a little bit, but who knows? Adam Silver's got a plan. And by the way, the plus 1,400 on the Pacers that I said to win it all, that I'm riding that ticket down to plus 425 right now. And obviously they get through tonight and one more game to win. So feeling good about that one as well.
All right, who will they be playing? Who will they be playing? Well, it'll be the winner of the Pelicans and Lakers game. That game's going up at 9:05 by far. I prefer this matchup over the Pacers and Bucks. And now this is the best part. So Sean and I were texting a little earlier this morning, and I'm saying this is my play. Now I like when there's a couple more games to choose from, but the 2 games we got, and there's something to be played for. Durant came out and said, man, this is just, it's a 1 game, one and done. Lakers have the size. It's really tough to beat them if you're going to get their A game. And I think, in Vegas, you're going to get their A game tonight. All the lights are going to be shining bright. LeBron's going to love it. Oh, by the way, dude played 40 plus minutes in that last game, dude. And he was the only person to play over 4. Like, are you kidding me? LeBron is a maniac. In a good way. 2-point favorites here, 231. I like the Lakers. I like the Lakers a lot. Now, Sean, this is where I kind of back things up, and you say, that number seems a little low to you. Where do you think that number should be? And are you hesitant to take the Lakers because maybe something is going on here?
Yeah, you asked me to blindly guess. I would have probably guessed -4, -4.5 in favor of the Lakers would have been my guess there, especially when you compare it to the Bucks -5 against the Pacers. That I think the Lakers probably a little bit smaller favorite in this. So I guess -4 would be my answer for it. But honestly, I'm still going to look at it for the game for what it is. I feel like that the signs are pointing towards LeBron James having a chance at this in-season tournament. That, hey, Michael Jordan has never won an in-season tournament. So another thing to add to the legacy there. He does get that done. I do think things are trending in the Lakers' direction from that regard. So I think a -2 is the call tonight. The Pelicans are a tough team. They're not going to roll over. Brandon Ingram playing very well. CJ McCollum finding his stride. And Zion, although he did not play well in that last game, still has his flashes, and we know what he's capable of. So they're not going to go down without a fight. Herb Jones is going to do his thing on LeBron for a little bit today. So I'm excited to see that matchup for sure. Herb Jones among the best defenders in the NBA straight up. So cool for him to see this opportunity. And yeah, it is really impressive that it's a little telling to the Lakers roster how important LeBron still is, but it's also, you got to tip your hat at just what a high level he's still performing at. Forget the age, just objectively, there's very few players that can play at the level that he is right now.
He's incredible. And it's honestly a treat. I hope people are paying attention, because we know he's going to be gone soon. And a lot like Brady, where you roll your eyes at it and it's like, dude, look at the quarterbacks in the league now, right? Like, we would kill to have Tom Brady back.
Yeah.
no matter what age. So here we are with LeBron, 40 minutes against the Suns. 40 minutes, the only player in the game to go for 40. Just insane. And oh, by the way, he went for 31. He had a triple double, didn't he? No, he had 31, 11 assists, and he had 8 rebounds in the game. It's just insane, dude. He was 2 for 4 from downtown, 5 from 6 from the stripe. Just it's crazy to be able to watch him and the way that they're putting it together right now for the Lakers. So I like the Lakers in this one as well. I'm going to ride with the Lakers, but it won't shock me if the if the Pelicans come out, because I didn't think that they were going to win that last game, and they ended up getting that job done. So I think it's going to be a good game here. I'm looking forward to this one. This is the nightcap. Yeah, against Sacramento, I had them losing that game to Sacramento. And they ended up winning 127-17, where they were 3.5-point dogs in that game on the road at Sacktown. All right, so from the player prop standpoint, anything for you in this game, Pels and Lakers?
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell's been a guy that's been jumping out to me. That his point numbers at 13.5 at -125, so a little bit steep on the price there. But he gets his shots off. That's one thing about D'Angelo Russell, that he can shoot you in and out of a game. I like players like that when you know you're getting that quality of shot volume. And he's been shooting the ball well this year, right around that 40% mark from 3, not afraid to let it fly. That he's a very important player on this team. Him and Reeves, it's between them for who's going to be kind of that third option for this Lakers team. I like that number at 13.5. That's probably my favorite play from the players' prop perspective. And Reeves at 14.5, so only a little bit higher there. I don't hate that either. Pelicans wise, I'm a little more unsure of. All these guys sitting around 23.5. Ingram, McCollum's at 17.5. Ingram and Zion are both at 23.5. Zion scared me a little bit with how he played and looked really kind of disengaged a lot in that last game, which that's something that like tunes
It was
me
the
off.
first time this year, though, right? First time this year he's been playing really well, and then this game was just like, what is he doing?
Yeah, and that raises my concern about a player more so than anything. I don't care if you're missing shots. I don't care if you're not playing well. When you start to have that kind of disengaged kind of feel, that's when I start to have my concerns about you. So I'm staying away from Zion for sure for today. I think I like
maybe under 23.
Yeah, I don't hate that. That's at -125 there. I think the D'Lo player points is probably my favorite in this game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that as well from the under as Zion. I know it's risky business, but there's something going on. He played 27 minutes in that game, just was completely non-existent in the second half there. Finished with 10 and coming off of past couple games. Maybe it was just one game, right? So I'll back off the Zion under tonight, and something to keep our eyes on moving forward. Let's just put it that way. All right. And then from the Lakers perspective, you said D'Angelo, nothing there for AD, nothing there for LeBron, maybe a flyer. Again, LeBron is just, he's going to love this. Possible triple-double for Bron here.
Yeah, I was looking more towards that. His assist is sitting at 7.5, which is plus 105 there. It's interesting. There's a lot of games where I feel he kind of takes the backseat and becomes the playmaker, which this Lakers team does need a guy to step up and do that. So he's absolutely helping the team by doing it. But it feels like sometimes he sits back and has more of a feel for playmaking, orchestrating the offense than being in attack mode. That was not the case in the last game. So I'm curious if the stakes are changing that. But looking at the points and assist numbers at 35.5, I don't hate that. His combo as a whole for LeBron is at 43.5. That's honestly probably a little bit better play. Looking at Anthony Davis at 42.5 there. Don't hate that. His rebounding number sitting at 11.5. He's a guy, AD, so I guess the nights when he's there and the nights when he's not. He's very much one of those players where you either got it or you don't. And you typically can tell in the first couple minutes with him. I'm staying away from him for that case. I probably like the LeBron, the 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think that's probably my favorite play from the Lakers side of things. Also, a guy to keep an eye on is Cam Reddish. His points sitting at 7.5. He's getting a lot more minutes per game than I kind of expected to be the case going into the year, and especially lately. So he keeps getting those opportunities. 0.5 is his number for three-pointers at -175. That could be something you throw in there. He does get his opportunities. So Cam Reddish I'm keeping an eye on as well.
Excellent stuff. Great breakdowns all across the board. Sean Barnard, you can find him at Sean_Barnard1. That's Sean_Barnard with the number 1. Fantastic stuff. All right, we'll see what happens on that one. Thursday night football, you got to play for us there?
The under is the only way to play this one, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think this is going to be some straight up ugly football between the Patriots and Steelers. You set the line at 1.5 touchdowns total. I still might hit the under on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to take it's 2.5.
Oh, wow.
at plus money on DraftKings. So that's one of my
Like
plays.
that.
Under 2.5 touchdowns. You have to like that. Just to back it up, LeBron was plus 850 to go for a triple-double tonight. And plus money for double-double, plus 105. That's definitely going to be a play for me. So I think I'm going Lakers, LeBron plus one, double-double for plus 105. And then for that same game parlay, we're going to go over D'Angelo Russell as far as points. We're going to go under Zion. We're going to go over Cam Reddish's points. We're going to see if we can factor in a double-double for LeBron. We're going to take the Lakers on the money line. We'll see what that same game parlay pays out. I'll tweet it out at Sean_Brace. Once again, get all of our numbers over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Sean Barnard, always a pleasure. We'll be sure to get back after it tomorrow to tee things up for a Friday night full card right here on Picks and Roll.